Hi, this is Louisa Harris at Louisa Harris Pilates. I'm going to just do a few 4-point kneeling exercises for your home practice. So for some of these there will be weight bearing on the wrists, and if you need to mobilise the wrist with a few wrist circles at all, first of all, feel free to do that, and I will give you some alternatives that you could do on elbows if it's an issue to weight bear on the wrists and on the hands fully. So the first one we're going to work on is to strengthen our triceps. So you can either come into 4-point kneeling, or I'll show you that variation in a moment. So I'm going to just try to set up with arms under shoulders, knees under hips, pressing the floor away, tummy engaged, shoulders wide and neck long. And then once I've found that position, without changing the hands, I'm going to just spiral the arms forward, so the inner crease of my elbows facing forward and the point of my elbows facing downwards towards my legs or to the side of my legs. So from here, I'm going to try and keep my bottom in the same position. That centre engaged, and as you breathe out and centre, you're just going to bow forward and then inhale to come back up again. So breath and centre to bow forward and then inhale to come up. Because this is quite tough on the triceps, sometimes it's tempting to almost reverse back towards rest position, but try to avoid doing that. So think more of bowing down. Maybe you get that sense of the sit bones widening as you do so, and you should most definitely be feeling some work in the triceps, the back of the upper arm. So keeping the shoulders wide, the neck and the head in line. You could aim for around 8 or maybe a few more. And then once you've done those, we're just going to do a little bit of threading the needle before we do tabletop. So I'm in that same position, but I'm going to just let the arms spiral inwards, so I've got that inner crease of the elbows facing each other and the points outwards rather than that variation for the tricep press. So we try not to lock out the elbows, but they are lengthened. So for a little bit of threading the needle and opening, as you breathe out and centre, I'm just transferring the weight to one arm, and I'm going to bend the elbow and then reaching that arm through, keeping the spine in neutral. So breath there, and then I'm going to unravel and change sides. Just make sure I'm set up, breath and centre. I'm going to reach through, bending the elbow of that supporting arm, keeping the spine neutral, breath there as I begin to unravel. So you might want to stay with that, or maybe when you come back to the centre, you could bring your hand to your chest and just begin to rotate the body and open up the arm the other direction. Try not to dip in the hips or the lumbar spine. And then you gather back. So then other side, you breathe out centre, reaching through, keeping neutral. As I come back to the centre, hand to chest, and I'm going to open out the other way. Breath there to come back. So we're going to just do one more of those each way. The really lovely thoracic mobility. We've already primed those triceps with the previous exercise to help you get that strength and support from your arm. At any point you need to come off of your hands, just do give them a little bit of a shake out. So if that's too tricky to weight bear on the wrist, another great alternative for strengthening the triceps is you come onto your elbows. And if you can't kneel, you could always do these next couple of exercises against the wall instead, and it does the job just as well. So you're still in that kneeling position. I'm going to come to elbow under shoulder, still with bottom in the air and tummy engaged. So the forearms are long and the hands are facing each other. I'm pressing into the floor to keep that engagement through the shoulders and that length through the neck. So as you breathe out and centre now, you just hover the elbows a little way. They may not fully straighten, that's fine. And then you could inhale to lower. So you should still definitely be feeling some work in the triceps, and you could work to around maybe 8 of these as well. And there's another variation that, as well as having the arms and palms facing inwards, you could try to rotate the forearms and palms to face upwards and do the same thing. So as you breathe out centre, you begin to hover, and then you can inhale to lower. So those should definitely target the triceps as well. Okay, and then I'm going to go on to tabletop. Again, if you can't weight bear on the arms, you could use the elbows, as I just did for some of the next progressions to come. So tabletop, we're maintaining that strength in our 4-point kneeling position. I'm trying not to lock out the elbows. I'm keeping that sense of pressing away from the floor. You might want to just stick with sliding the leg and maybe opposite arm, making sure that we're not dipping in that lumbar spine or letting the pelvis shift. It might be you want to lift either the arm or the leg up, still taking care that we're not dipping in that lumbar spine. Okay, so you've had breath and center. Just maybe stick with the slide or possibly floating up. Inhale to stay, exhale to lower and glide back in with control. If that's okay, another option is going to put one hand behind your back. So if I slide my right leg away, I'm going to put the left hand behind my back, and I've really got to work hard on that weight bearing arm and leg to maintain that position of the rest of my body as I exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So it's a little lift and lower of the leg, making sure I'm not dipping into that lower back. I'm just doing around 5. And then we can come back in, regroup, and then slide the other leg away, opposite hand behind your back, really strong for that supporting arm and leg. And then breath and center, you can hover up as you lift, inhale to lower. I'm just aiming for 5 here. And then once you've done, we'll come back in. And you could also do certainly the leg slide and lift on elbows if you needed to. Just careful not to sink into the shoulders. And then from here, I'm going to go into cat. So same start position. So this is optional on extended arms. So you can breathe out center, just round into your cat shape. Try not to hunch the shoulders. Reverse back about halfway. Get that sense of arms drawing into shoulders, and I'm going to ripple the spine either to neutral, let the sit bones widen, or possibly just shine your gaze and breastbone to the ceiling a little bit, and then rock back to where you began, not beyond it to overload the wrists, and then neutral. So you can round, reverse, ripple, maybe extend a little bit, and then rocking back. So it should just feel really nice to loosen up each segment of your spine. So just comfortable breath pattern, support through your center, and just trying to let the spine ripple and move freely. As with the other exercises, still great option if you need to come onto elbows. You can have the hands together, keep your bottom in the air, and then round, reverse, neutral, or extend and come back. Okay, and then once you finish, definitely give yourself a treat with a little rest position stretch, or come onto your back and hug the legs in towards you. But take a few breaths in your rest position. You might want to just walk left hand over to right for a few breaths, and then back through to center, and then right hand over to left for a few breaths, and then back through to center, and then uncurling and lengthening back up. So thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. See you soon. Bye bye.